It's as if YouTube Nollywood movie producers are on a mission to give Uche Montana swollen eyes this year because my girl has literally cried a lot this year in YouTube Nollywood movies. She has cried a lot. Hi, good life family. What's good and welcome welcome back to the YouTube channel. Welcome to a new video. It's been a hot minute since I sat down and set up to film a proper sit down video to do like a movie review. If you have been following up on this channel, you most likely have noticed that I have been doing a voiceover for the longest time. You guys, it's not all roses. Like it's not as rosy as it looks. Sitting down here to make videos and like edit, post and keep up with all of these movies that are coming in back to back on a daily basis, it's not as rosy as it looks, I promise you. But that's by the way. Today I am going to be reviewing the movie Now and Always, currently showing on CHINNEYLOVE EZE TV here on YouTube. So if you have seen the movie, drop a comment in the comment section about how you feel about the movie, and then if you haven't seen the movie, you should probably go check it out so you can have an idea of exactly what I'm talking about, so it's not just me that busy blabbing. This movie is a faith-based movie, kind of, so if you're a Christian, you probably would like to check this out because it's kind of like a breath of fresh air compared to like all the other kind of movies we have here on the YouTube space, because it's faith-based and it talks about Christianity a little bit. The movie carries us along on the journey of a woman named Monica, and the character of Monica is played by the gorgeous and super talented Uche Montana herself. Monica in this particular movie is a married, hardworking woman with a daughter, and they are basically a happy family, as happy as any regular Nigerian Christian family can be, and all things are going smoothly for them in their family until when she suffers the terrible loss of her husband and daughter to a ghastly motor accident, and it broke her. Gives rise to her starting to question the existence of God, the power of God, the love of God, and all the other good stuff. I highly recommend you go watch the movie because I'm not giving like a total spoiler. I'm basically just giving a brief summary so you can have an idea of what I'm talking about while I move on to review this movie. The little girl in this movie has my whole heart. I think she's such a fantastic actress, and I cannot even help but comment on how well Uche Montana does with children. I think this is the third movie I'm seeing her with a child in the movie, and I just feel like children warm up to her easily. What do you think? I feel like children like her a lot. There's always like an easy flow of chemistry between her and any of the children that she's acting a movie with. I think children warm up to her so well. It's really commendable. It's worth talking about, right? I love the little girl in this movie that played the role of Mira, who is Monica's daughter in this film. I think that child is a fantastic actress. Like, I can see the potential in her. There's like, you can obviously see that she was enjoying her role in this movie. She was enjoying being present in this movie. She was actually very intentional towards portraying her role to perfection, in as much as her acting is not 100%, because obviously she's a child and she still has a lot to learn, but you can just see the intention, you can see the passion in her, right? I think she's such a fantastic actress. I love how well she was able to just flow into her character as Mira in this movie, how she was able to voice her lines easily, without obviously looking like she was reading from a script or saying something that she crammed in her head. She is not the best child actor in the world, right? And this is literally the first movie I'm seeing her, but to be very fair and to be quite frank and honest, I think she did a commendable job. As for the other actors in this movie, I think Uche Montana, as well as the other actor that played the role of her husband in this movie, and basically everybody else, I think they did fairly good. Like, they just did sufficiently good. That's the word, sufficiently good, because there was no nothing serious that happened in this movie that required any of the actors to actually be in a particular element that is something so like away from ordinary acting. So I think they basically had like really simple roles to play in this movie. Nobody was mad, nobody was doing anything out of the ordinary, so I think they did sufficiently good. Nobody did too little, nobody did too much, and I think they brought in the right amount of energy that was required to nail their roles to perfection. Also, the soundtrack that they used in this particular film was so spot on. For me, I enjoyed it and I felt like it corresponded, right? I felt like it corresponded, it was consistent with the kind of energy that was, flowing in this particular movie. It really did set like the tone and the atmosphere for all of the emotions to just flow smoothly. I also love how this movie portrays Christianity in a good light. I love that it shows us that Christianity is not just that religion that calls us to go to church, calls us to pray, calls us to fast, and all the other things that a lot of people might assume Christianity is all about. I love that it shows us that it's a lifestyle of emulating Jesus Christ, to love, to learn, to heal, to grow, to know that God loves us and would not do anything to actually harm us. It subtly portrays how the devil comes and just throws certain circumstances at us as Christians and puts certain trials and tribulations in our way. and all of those things kind of give us like a reason to question the existence of God, the power of God, the love of God, and all of that. But at the same time, it helps us to learn to know that when he says he would never leave us or forsake us, he actually meant every word. That's because he loves us, his children, with an everlasting love. At the end of the day, he said in his word that all things work out together for good for those that love God, and that those that wait upon God will renew their strength. I love that this movie certainly portrays that, because it just helps us as Christians. In as much as I don't think that the movie was really, like Christianity centered. I just feel like they were taking the whole portrayal of Christianity with a sprinkle of salt. But I couldn't help but notice some little lack of attention to certain details in this movie. Take for instance the doctor's office in this movie that they used. I don't like the fact that the office was so empty. It obviously looked like a set that they just quickly put together just to make that, like that particular scene. It didn't look like an actual office. It couldn't have taken them, like that much of an effort to just quickly, like fill up the office and put things inside of it to make it look like an actual office. At least for the minutes that they were going to shoot that particular scene, the office looked obviously so empty. It was just so obvious that they quickly just put that particular table and just set up quickly so they could film that scene and move on with their lives. Like, it didn't have to be like that. So how when Uche Montana was trying to take drugs in her room that particular night, and then the drugs fell out of her mouth when she was like trying to swallow the medication, and then they just left it. Like, they could have easily redone that scene. They could have easily redone that scene to make it actually look more realistic. The drugs obviously fell out of her mouth, and she didn't even pick them up or anything. She just kept the glass and went straight to bed like nothing happened. I mean, come on now. Also, how her friend was able to quickly manufacture moi moi. That particular scene where her colleague came for work to come and prepare food for her at home. Like, I was like, you need to eat something, and then she went in and came out with moi moi. Like, where did moi moi come from? Because the impression they gave us was like she was just lying around doing nothing. She wasn't eating. She wasn't. So like, if she had brought an easier meal, it would have made more sense. An easier meal, like maybe noodles or spaghetti or something believable. You went and brought a whole moi moi. Do you know the process and procedure involved in actually making moi moi? I also hated that they couldn't put in like a little bit more effort to make the throwback or the flashback of her life to actually look like something that happened back in the day. Like the way all the furniture, the houses, the interior of the houses and everything just basically, from even the dressing to everything, just basically looks like something that happened just now. Like, I mean, they could have put in a little bit more effort to just arrange the place, dress them up a little bit to look like people that like existed back in the day. Every single thing from back in the day, the past that they showed us and the present basically looked like the same time, looked like everything happened at the same time. I don't think it was cool. Overall, I would say from my impression of this movie, I think this movie was a low effort film, to be very honest. I'm a Christian and I love movies that portray Christianity in a good light. I love movies that enlighten people about Christianity, that help to build people's faith. But this particular movie was really low effort. At the end of the day, they say anything we're doing is we're doing good, right? If you're going to do a movie that portrays Christianity, that teaches on Christianity, you might as well just put in like all of the necessary required effort and make it like a beautiful film to watch. I feel like this movie was really low effort, low budget. I mean, like, it was quite obvious that they weren't like trying to do a lot for this particular movie. They could have made it better, right? I didn't really find the movie to be very interesting. It was mostly boring and slow paced. It was given minimum effort, minimum results, because the fact that they put in a little bit of effort into the movie, it was actually reflecting in the result that it was getting, right? There was nothing interesting. Like, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the idea behind the movie. I appreciate that the movie is trying to like enlighten people about Christianity and to build faith of Christians and all the other good stuff. But I just feel like they didn't do enough. The movie was not very interesting. It was really slow paced. It was really boring. It's the kind of movie that you might fall asleep while watching it. I honestly wish they had done better, because the story seemed like a good one that they could have actually milked it better to bring out a more beautiful film and put in a little bit more effort. It could have been a fantastic movie. Overall, I did not enjoy watching this movie. Did I hate the movie? No, I didn't hate the movie because I like the idea behind the movie. I like the concept. I like the theme. I like the message that the movie tries to pass. But the movie was not interesting. It was kind of boring. It was quite boring. It's not something that I have watched a couple of Nollywood movies movies that do like faith-based movies, Christianity kind of movies, you know, that kind of vibe. You find there are some that you actually find interesting, and then there are some that you just don't find interesting. This particular one, I don't think it was interesting. It was really, you know, little effort, little results. So I didn't really like the result I was getting. I wish that they had done better because the story was good. But then aside from the little lack of attention to detail and the lack of effort in this movie, I like every other thing. I like the message that the movie stands for. I like the visual concept of the film. I think the movie was actually beautiful to look at, just that it was not very interesting. For an overall rating, I think a 4/10 would be fair, considering that it is like the movie didn't do much to keep you glued to the screen. It wasn't that interesting, it wasn't entertaining, it wasn't something that kept you glued to the screen. It's basically just something you watch because you probably like the characters you're seeing on the screen, or you have to come and make a movie review like me. So I think 4/10 does justice. Like 4/10 is actually fair. And that brings me to the end of this particular video, this particular movie review. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for sticking around up until this point. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, well, I make awesome movie reviews just like this one that you've watched right now on this channel. The channel is basically, you know, a movie review channel, as well as some other good stuff like good story time and the rest. So please just click on the subscribe button to get subscribed to the channel and join the Good Life family. Turn on your post notification to get notified whenever I put out new and amazing content like this. And all of that being said, thank you so very much for watching, and until I come again to your screen next time, I remain your girl Mimi Nasike. Thank you so very much for watching, and I love you all dearly. Bye.